Hello and welcome to another Fourth Down Fiasco exclusive interview. I'm Jordan Pryor. No Danny Weber with me today, but I am very excited. We're bringing back friend of the pod, an individual who he doesn't need an introduction, but he's going to get one anyways. Most efficient quarterback of the 2024 ELF season. The man whose name has been referenced in more rap songs than he probably cares to count. The Stuttgart Savant, the Washington Kid, Mr. Cool as a glass of brandy himself, Reilly Hennessey. How are you, brother?
Well, I appreciate it. I like some of those analogies for sure. That's funny.
I mean, how many rap songs has your name been in? You know?
Oh, many. And it's obviously the first reaction to most people hearing my last name for the first time. And so, yeah, you're not too far off.
Yeah, not alone in the comparison, you know. And I know that the phrase from Chris Stapleton is warm as a glass of brandy, but you keep it cool, calm, and collect. You know, we never see you get a little too high, never a little too low. So, although I did see a picture recently from last season of you like screaming out of the tunnel, I don't think I've ever seen an ounce of emotion from you. What's going on with that?
That was a funny story. That was, I had a signature kind of coming out of the tunnel move where I just blow a kiss to the crowd, and all of a sudden the guy in front of me did it, and I'm like, this is the, like, it was in the semifinals, the playoff game, and I'm like, you watched me do that all year, and then you pull that out, so I'm like, dang, okay, I can't do that back to back. And I was just hyped up, and I just got excited, and I just let it out. So yeah, it was good. I like that feeling, because there is a time for emotion, and I typically show it either with a score or something like that, but it is at times, especially in that moment where your butterflies are going and you're ready to go, but as a quarterback you got to kind of re-level, and still feels good to let it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, my rugby coach growing up was always like, "Hey, don't get too excited, don't get too hyped." It's hard though. It is, especially whenever you're out there making plays. But you went ahead and brought it up, so I'm sorry that we got to talk about it. But last year there was a little bit of unfinished business. You came out of retirement for one last ride, ended short in the semifinal round. What was the atmosphere like in the locker room after the loss to Rhine?
Oh man, it was heartbreak. It was, walking off the field feeling like you were the better team, and I think anybody watching that game has to admit that we lost that game. Like, I truly feel, me personally, I feel like I lost that game, and made some uncharacteristic mistakes. Wasn't the easiest weather game to play in, but, growing up in the Northwest, I played in plenty of rain, and so it's just not an excuse that I can handle. And so that was the worst part. And, Coach Newman's such a great, outside of football, just a leader of men. And even in those hard moments is so great at, refocusing. And his, like, immediately after the game, as bad as it hurt and as disappointed we were, acknowledged the pride that we take, especially going toe to toe, and really, feeling like we played better than the perennial champion. And that was something to be proud of, as well as just embracing, the last time being together, that team will never exist again. We're already starting practice, and a lot of new faces. And so even if the emblem on our helmet's the same, it's like that team will never exist. And so we kind of just took that night to enjoy that and enjoy that group that was together, and kind of just let it soak in. And yeah, it's led a lot of us to this week. So
fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean, I think you put it really well with that. And you had mentioned the heartbreak. You had also mentioned the, I mean, I can kind of see where you're coming from as far as, y'all played great, throughout the entire game as a collective. And the margin of error is so small in games like these. So, I know that you're not going to talk about anyone other than yourself for this particular answer, but just kind of take me through what happened. Was it a breakdown of mechanics at certain times? Was it that, because of the rain, you weren't seeing the field as well as you normally do? Because I agree, some uncharacteristic throws. Kind of take us through what happened down the stretch there at that game.
I mean, from a macro sense, turnovers. We turned the ball over 4 times in a football game. You're not gonna win a game. The fact that we went to overtime, turned the ball over 4 times in or 3 times in regulation, once in overtime, is just like you shouldn't win those football games. And so, yeah, first pick was just corner route in the cloud that just left it a little low. Corner sunk underneath it, and then we had a fumble in the fourth quarter, which guy just slipped a block and was in the guy's blind side and punched it out. And, good football play by that guy. You'd like to see your guy hold on to the ball, but crazy weather like that, it's a different amount of friction on your forearm to the football. And then, miscommunication on a crucial third down led to the next pick. And the last one was I just threw it behind him in overtime. And just stuff like that. You're talking about such small margins in games like that, and you see it all the time. And so that's what really sucked is our defense played great, and like I touched on, to be that close to a great team like that while playing so poorly, just spoke volumes to the team we truly were. Football's football. The weather's a part of it. But I would love another shot at them on just a, dry field.
Fair enough.
It is what it is. They played better than us on that day, given that weather. And
or at least a cleaner game, I would say, right?
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah.
So, with that, going into this year, there definitely is still some overlap from the team from last year, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But what is the message going into this year? Is it championship or bust again this year? Or, what are the expectations for the 2025 Surge team?
Yeah, we kind of, to me, every season's broken down into like 3 mini seasons. It's like, you've got the season leading up to the first game, and like that first game, that's the first season. And then you've got the regular season. It's kind of the second season where you fall into the rhythm of, game planning each week and then just kind of rinse and repeat as you prepare for each new opponent. And then you got the postseason. And so really this whole off season has just been working on, hey, how can we build the best possible team that we have the, resources to do. And then we're entering that phase now of like, how do we win that first season? How do we win that first game? How do we prepare? How do we, get to know each other, get to know new schemes, get to perfect old schemes, and win that first season. So that's kind of the era we're in currently. And certainly last season, just that hurt and hunger is alive in us. And obviously the championship being in Stuttgart is a huge motivator for us. And the team motto this year is just bring it home, which, has multiple reasons, but I think that kind of speaks well. And whoever came up with that in our marketing department was very cheap.
They were cooking. They were cooking with that one for sure.
Absolutely.
So as far as, you had mentioned kind of the season before the season, the leading up to game one, putting together this roster, did you have any say in what went on? Were you working with ownership, with Coach Newman on who to bring in or anything like that? I'm just curious as to how that dynamic works on the inside.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird offseason for me because once again, I was set on retiring and being done and was sick to my stomach how it ended, and, got home and called my future employer and was like, all right, let's go. And they were kind of like, hey, I know them through football and they follow my career, and they're just kind of like, hey, honestly, it's no problem for us if you want to start 10 months from now, and go back and play another season. So I was like, well, gosh, I'm not going to let you change your mind. I'm in.
Yeah.
And so then that kind of opened the door to another season. And, before I could, I guess I don't know where I was going with that, but in terms of like ownership and stuff like that, like it's pretty well run through Coach Newman, certainly from the football side of things. And so that's the guy you're going to do a lot of your dealings with and talk to, and obviously someone I'm extremely close with at this point. So that's where those conversations started. And since then have been less involved this year in truly the recruiting process. I was, focused on being home and mainly just on my own training and off season. And so just trusted them to do that, which led us to our American receiver, who huge part of being able to sign him happened to be that he was, living 30 minutes from me. And so we actually got to spend an entire off season together. And
that's convenient.
Exactly. And so, we start our first practice tomorrow, but me and Jeff have been throwing for months. And so that's been a huge advantage, and not only to get to know each other as players, but as people. I mean, he's 2 floors above me right now. And so it's nice to have kind of that built-in friend, as well as teammate.
For sure. Well, you've already brought him up, so let's talk about him. Jeff Cotton Jr., former NFL wide receiver, has gotten some snaps in the big league. You've got to be pretty excited about it. He runs, a 4.38, doesn't he? He's fast. He's very fast. So, Tell me, what are you most excited about with his game, seeing it on the field?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just got a little bit of everything, man. He's big, he's fast, he's physical. He can play inside, he can play outside. He's smart, man, super smart. You get a guy that's been around that level of ball, and there's not much he hasn't seen. There's not much he hasn't ran. There's not many bigger people he hasn't blocked. And so just kind of the all-around package that we're really excited about. And on top of that, I mean, he's kind of a coach on the field as well. I mean, he's coming into this fully understanding the playbook, fully kind of ready to go. And so, I couldn't be more excited. He's going to be a guy that's really fun to get the ball to, and then just, jog down the field behind him as he's going crazy.
Well, and I think it's very, again, convenient that y'all ended up, living so close to each other while y'all were in the States. Obviously y'all spent plenty of time working on timing and everything. How confident are you that day one it's just going to click for y'all?
I would say quite confident. I mean, I can't. I tell every receiver, and I probably said this in the podcast last year. I don't choose who the ball is going to. The defense does that. Mm-hmm. And so I would love for us to be connecting, lighten it up game one, week one. But if a defense is, steadfast on taking him away, there's not much I can do. And that's where building a team where we've got other options is what we set out to do. And right. So I'm excited. I think that he is a problem if you're gonna, not make sure he does not get the ball. But once you do that, you are susceptible elsewhere.
Yeah. And I mean, y'all have some other talent on the team as well. Daniel Pedro from the UK seems to be a pretty solid, just overall athlete in general. So have you had the chance to sit down, look at any of his tape and kind of get a feel for what his game might look like, especially next to yours and Cotton Jr.'s?
Definitely. He's another guy that's 2 floors above me right now. We're on the field yesterday. You nailed it. I mean, just pure athleticism. I mean, he's a guy that he's young. He's only 20 years old. He's only been playing football 3 years. Like there's certainly aspects to his game that we're excited to polish and to really work together to elevate. But from a tool standpoint, man, he's got everything. First thing that jumped out on film was just I think he's an elite decelerator, which is ironic to hear, especially in a sport sports world, but that is truly what separates receivers. Everybody's fast. Everybody can be quick. How fast can you decelerate? And that was the thing that jumped out to us. So we're excited to really use that tool set, the guy that can just fly as well as stop. It's like, pick your poison, man. You gonna take away the vert or take away the stop? There's not much. You don't get to do both.
Right.
So yeah, excited about him.
Well, it sounds like everybody is just living in the same complex as you, so I might as well ask about him as well. I'm going to probably butcher his name, so forgive me, but Oyewu, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Oyewu.
There we go. I'm glad that you fixed that for me. Is he, well, first of all, is he living in the complex too? Is he 4 stories above you? What's going on with him?
Also 2.
Okay. Is he rooming with anybody? I'm here for the
aforementioned both guys. They all 3. Yep. We put the skill players up there all together so they can study and be on the same page.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yep. Tommy's up there. I don't think I need to even introduce him to most watching already know. And, he's a guy we're really excited about, both in the running game and in the passing game. I think he's led the league in receiving the last 2 years at the running back position, or of the running backs. And so another weapon that's getting the ball to him in any and all means is a positive for us. So when you can, turn around and just hand it to one of your best athletes, that's a positive.
Nice to have.
So excited. Another one excited to you can be on the field with guys, you can throw routes on there and everything, but until you have the helmet and shoulder pads on, you don't exactly know or you don't actually see exactly who they are. And so I've seen Tommy 4 times. That's a lie. Played him in Algoy in 2022. So I've seen Tommy 7 times live, and excited. Just a tough guy to bring down. Very good contact balance, and with I got to give the O-line credit here, man, because I think he's going to be running through some potentially first and second level untouched holes, and if you're a safety watching him coming your way at full steam, that's a long day, man. That's why I stopped playing safety. I'll be honest with you. I was a little ankle biter back there, and I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm gonna go play offense.
No, I understand. Yeah, it's the big hits can definitely make you change positions for sure. I understand.
Man, I was tired of my chin strap choking me. Nope.
Yeah, no, that's why I played wing in rugby. I was all about let me just be faster than everybody else.
Yep. Don't
really want to be hitting people. I'll hit guys that are my size, but bigger than me, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah. That's fun, especially in that sport, man.
Yeah. So, you mentioned, especially with him, he's a big chunk yardage guy. I believe he averaged 7.4 yards per carry last year, which, the fact that he wasn't getting more love on, just from the running aspect of things is crazy to me. But, that's something that I think y'all's offense can probably benefit from, clearly. I think any offense can benefit from that. But, y'all were very pass heavy last year. So I think, how does it feel, I guess, to have, and not just him, but y'all have kind of a slew of running backs now that, can kind of get up and go, get some big chunk yardage. What kind of pressure does that take off of you moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you can turn around and hand it to, just a stable of guys that can get that done. I mean, I think that it's just, again, I don't get to choose who the ball goes to. It's not like I either get told to hand it to a guy or I allow a defense to just kind of dictate where I'm putting the ball. And so when not only you force them to only give you a few, looks to have to deal with based on just having to stop the run, any team that's just willing to let you run the ball is in for a long day. And so I think it more forces the hand of a defense in general when when your run game is the staple of your offense. And gosh, I mean, I think that we've seen it the last 2 years. I think Ryan's been the best team at running the ball the last 2 years. And that just speaks to the success that they've had. When you can control the game, when you can really, again, force defenses to play. There he is. Couldn't help himself.
I'm back.
Well, you know, Reilly, you had mentioned in our Instagram DMs that you were hoping for a little bit of a harsher critic, because it is true. I am pushing the Hennessey MVP button. I'm spamming it on Xbox 360 or whatever the young kids are playing these days. So, you know, I did bring in a real critic of your game, Mr. Daniel Weber, who he might have some harder questions for you.
I might have a couple.
That's what I was expecting and looking forward to. So I have, we've already got good rapport. So it's like, hey, let's.
So I heard you talking about. That's true. So I heard you just talking about running the ball. I don't know what else you said before, but if you're such a great QB, why haven't you had 1,000-yard receiver in the ELF?
I have. We had DJ.
My source was correct.
DJ 2 years ago. In what, only?
Did Jordan lead me astray?
Did I leave you astray? Well, I was referring more to last year.
Last year.
Gotcha.
Sorry, then why didn't you have one last year?
Yeah.
I'm struggling to understand why that's a signal of a great quarterback when you have a nicely spread. I mean, let's also not get it twisted that there was quite a few games that I didn't get to play the entire game. And when I'm not playing an entire game, we're probably pulling receivers earlier than that. So unfortunately, those guys don't get the opportunity to play full time. But no, Darrell Stewart had 1,000 yards now, including playoffs, I guess. But he only played in, I think, 6 or 7 regular season games 2 years ago. And I do believe that either Meyer or Geyer that year also had 1,000, including playoff statistics.
Negative. Well, okay. Maybe if you include playoff. Regular season, they did not. Danny, I didn't leave you straight with this question. I promise.
Yeah. You're making me look like a bad guy with these questions.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to be the bad guy. So, Danny, ask your other question since you have it.
Here's my second question.
Yeah.
Why are you so quiet? We see you yell and get hyped during the games. So what's with like the little humble guy gimmick?
Interesting. Can you elaborate on the humble guy gimmick? I like where am I quiet? When am I quiet?
Jordan, where is he?
Oh, Danny, you butchered it. You had one job.
I like this though. I mean,
your questions.
I guess I'm curious. I will absolutely answer it. I want to know where the I don't know what instances I've been seeing that seem I guess quiet, because I can understand that game day. I try and stay really level-headed. I'm music in my ears, kind of don't talk to me. I'm going to be in my corner vibing. But if you're at practice with me, that's where it all gets let out. I'm a very emotional, some might say demanding teammate.
So just whenever we see you, you're just kind of level-headed, quiet, off to yourself. We don't get to see you at practice, so
yeah, exactly.
We don't see that side of you.
Exactly, and I think that's just a learned trait on game days of just playing. I've been emotional, and that just hasn't worked. It's just you get frustrated over little things, and then I'm very much a perfectionist, and I've had to learn to okay, we had to punt. That's not a failure, but it's okay. Like I played in a very good high school system that I think we punted less than 7 times my senior year. And so then going to college, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, they stopped us. What's going wrong? We only got 6 yards that play. Oh my gosh, what's going on? And it's like having to remind yourself to okay, 3 yards, 2.5 yards a play is a win, where we can be efficient that way. And especially when you get into those big games, close games, it's like really settling down and really taking things a play at a time, as cliche as it is. But even from the standpoint of what is a win? And I think staying calm in those situations is has been a learned trait over the years. I mean, this is year 2022. So
I think that's the humble guy gimmick that Danny was referring to. You know, we understand you need to chew some people out, you need to talk some shit. It happens.
Yeah.
It's okay, Reilly. You're allowed to do that. You're human. Okay.
Yeah. No, I am very aware where the cameras are. I am very aware of, you know.
I'd say very, very well media trained for sure.
Definitely, and I try and stay away from the media as much as I can. But I like what you guys do.
Except for us.
Yeah, I do. I am fans. I like the friend of the pod thing. I didn't know if that was like a crooked media steal right there that I've heard that from, but that's the name of a podcast company. That's not like a.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm used to. I listen to a lot of like the Locked On podcast network, and anytime they bring on like there was like friend of the pod, and so I'm like, oh yeah, friend of the pod.
I'm sure a lot of podcasts use that terminology. That was the place that I had heard it, so I didn't know if that came from there. But no, yeah, I do try and. I mean, I think my biggest fear would be like talking smack on social media and then getting beat. I can't imagine anything more humiliating. It's like we were talking about this the other day. Like that's why a lot of us don't wear visors. Certainly me and Tommy don't wear visors because it's like if you wear a visor, you better be that guy. You better be that, and you better not have an off day because you're wearing that tinted visor, man. That's a lot to live up to. I got enough to live up to, man. That's funny. Let's play ball. So this is great. Bring on the hard ones. Let's go.
Well, you had mentioned Geyer and Mayer as well. I believe Geyer right now is auditioning for the CFL. He's in the combine right now. But any plans to try and talk him out of it to bring him back? Any plans to bring Mayer back? We haven't heard.
Meyer went to the Vikings.
Yeah, I've plans to bring Meyer back, but he is under contract elsewhere, and so we've got to.
So you're helping out Danny's team. That's lovely.
Yeah, I mean they got a lot of mouths to feed over there, man. They've done a good job of acquiring talent, and so I'm excited to watch how they get them all the ball, which I think they'll do a good job of, honestly. But as far as Geyer, I mean Lewis is he went to the combine 2 weekends ago, but he's back here in Stuttgart. Very much around the team. Obviously, he's waiting. The draft is at the end of this month for the CFL Global. And then, some scary possibilities, I guess I would call them from my perspective. But at the same time, Lewis is one of my best friends. He came and visited me in the U.S. and, we talk daily. And at the end of the day, I want him to do what he wants. I want him to do what he's put so much work in. And if he wants to go pursue that dream, I'll be the first person with a pom-pom and in his corner. That's all I want. And so obviously as a Surge, selfishly, of course we want him. He's arguably the best receiver in Europe. And so hit for us, but I think we've built a team this offseason with that knowledge and, is formidable, certainly with him and formidable without him. So
any big names or any names that fans need to keep on their radar for 2025? And this can be offense and defense alike. Yeah,
gosh. I mean, I'm going to start defensively. Offense is easy. Defensively, like if you guys aren't on the hype train for our D-line, I don't know where you've been. Like that D-line, I'm going to tell you, I'm so glad I don't have to play him. I am so glad.
I was about to say, I believe your exact quote was, "I'm glad I wear a red jersey in practice."
Oh, they can't touch me. Robert Lockman single-handedly beat us last year in that Raiders game. He forced a holding at the end of the game that negated a 45-yard pass interference call. And then before half, we ran a dig and go. DJ was behind the guys as I'm like letting the ball go, and he just hits the ball out. Fumble. I think they get 3 points right at the end of the half. That ended up being the difference in the game. And it's like you take those two plays out, and man, walk out of the season 12-0. And so having a guy like that, and then his good buddy and another guy that's one floor above me, Baron Grube, another just, large human being that we just have got 4, 5, 6 of those, including guys that have been here. That, man, I just heard a knock today that somebody was saying, well, we play a lot of 3 down front, so thankfully only 3 of them are on the field at a time. And it's like, yeah, but what happens when the next 3 come in and they're just as good? Like, you never get a break. And these other teams that you have 4 good defensive linemen, but what happens when they need a breather? That's a big deal. So really excited about 2 guys out of Berlin. One of them coming from the Rebels, the Thunder, in Albert Wiesenstraub. I'm so sorry, Albert, but your last name is difficult. But just a spark plug, man. I mean, he was second behind Tommy in receiving yards for a running back in Berlin, and just kind of a Swiss Army knife of a player. They split him out, put him in the backfield. But just like a Darren Sproles type of guy that it's like, man, just put the ball in his hands and then just enjoy the show. So excited about him. And then tight end, we've got Division I 4-year player from University of Arizona in Roberto Miranda, who was a highly sought after guy in this league, being a European player, thankfully for us, a homegrown, coming out of Berlin, and fresh out of college football, not only mentally but physically. It's like that goes a long way. And so those are the first kind of names that pop into my head. The offensive line, I to my knowledge I've been in Europe for 7 years now and know of a lot of guys, but I don't think that there's an offensive line as good and as deep as ours. I mean, we've got guys that were starters for other teams that are now on our roster and fighting to just be on
snaps
the game day. Yeah, to just be dressed up on game day. And it's like that's a testament to just the culture. That's a testament to, our coaching staff and just goes to show that guys just want to be a part of it, and guys understand how special this is and have seen that from the outside. And so, yeah, we couldn't be more excited to showcase that.
Fair enough. Now, the one position that I am curious on improvement of is the linebackers. Just because, last year, y'all's 2 top tacklers were actually both defensive backs. And just at least statistically, the linebackers were very quiet out of Stuttgart. So have there been any additional signings? Is there anything that you can and can't tell us about the linebacking core for Stuttgart?
Yeah, I guess how I'd answer that is I think that's more of a schematic thing that you're witnessing through statistics. Okay. We play a very unique defense here. Like I said, a lot of odd 3 down front, gonna give a lot of light boxes with a lot of disruption and twists and gap filling inside out, which then spills a lot of plays to faster defensive backs that are coming down to make tackles. So I think a bit of that is just structurally that okay. Turns out to be that we are a heavy defensive back team. We want to have 4, 5, 6 defense. If Cody could put 7 defensive backs on the field, he would do it. And so I think that's more where that shows up statistically.
Okay.
Unfortunately, to play in the front 6 to 7 for us is a pretty selfless position. You're still going to get your licks, especially in pass pro, and especially when we bring pressure. But from just like a pure, run stopping, they do a good job of filling gaps, and you see a lot of running backs stop their feet, try and break it outside, which is exactly what you want them to do. Where you have your speedsters filling.
Fair enough. And I mean, to your point, I didn't realize, I thought it was a typo originally on sports metric, but y'all had 28 interceptions as a defense last year, which is wild to me. So I get it. If you've got guys who can ball hawk like that, then let them play. Players are going to play. But with that, that also, at least in practices, I am curious, do you feel like that makes it playing it, against such elite talent in the secondary? Do you think that makes you a better quarterback?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Not only, I mean, it's a combination of the guys doing it and the guys calling it. I mean, I haven't been around as creative, as unique play and scheme developers as Cody Pastorino and Johnny Brenner, which, to us, it's annoying because, as you install your base offense, obviously you're going against your defense in camp. And so, we've got to make a lot of these like special calls versus special fronts and how our defense plays it. That sure, there's a potential we see that in the regular season. And one team might play a specific technique or leverage similar to what our team does. But certainly you almost exhale when you just get to, a 4-2-5 over under front. And you're just like, whoa. You mean they're just going to like line up there? This is nice. Okay.
Right.
And it's it is fun. And certainly when we get into those one-on-one sessions and truly just going good on good stuff, you know what's sitting back there. And so you are a little more, you make sure that you know exactly what you're throwing into, and you know exactly that window is going to be there.
Yeah, because any guy on y'all's, anybody in your DB room, man, if they get a hand on a ball, it's theirs.
Exactly. So. I use the mantra DBs are just receivers that can't catch quite a lot, but unfortunately against those guys, they tend to catch it.
Fair enough. Danny, do you have any questions? I'm kind of hogging up all the mic time here, my man.
No, yeah, seriously. No, I'll ask one question, then I'll let it go back to your exclusive one-on-one interview.
Okay.
No more critiques. I tend to ask these ones at the end of all of our interviews. I think you answered it before. I don't remember what you said last interview. Pick one player and drop them on your team on a Tuesday roster. Import rules don't count. Who would be?
That was one ELF or NFL?
Yeah, anyone from the NFL, A import, E import rules do not apply. Just if you could pluck anybody from the NFL and put them on the Stuttgart Surge.
Like current player or past player, like anybody?
Yeah, anybody you want.
I mean, if you're not picking Aaron Donald to be on your football team, like name a more dominant player. It's funny. We just had this conversation of just like, who would be just ungodly dominant. And it's like, even if you took Mahomes and you plopped him on an ELF team, like, would he have success? Yes. But Mahomes is also who he is because of, the coaches he has, because of he has insane talent around him, which allows him to showcase his talent.
An offensive line that's been great for years.
Exactly. Whereas if you just plug and played Aaron Donald, I mean, are you kidding me? Like,
that'd be insane.
Yeah.
Be raps,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. That'd be.
It's funny.
Just awkward to watch him play.
It's like, oh, yep, he had 17 sacks again today. Yeah, just today.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny.
That Aaron Donald. That's my answer.
Well,
I appreciate that response.
I think that was the first Aaron Donald answer we've had.
That blows my mind.
We have.
I'll let you guys go.
I appreciate you. Bye, Danny. I appreciate you. We have had somebody say Jason Kelsey before, which I was like, that makes sense. I'm trying to remember who that was. But yeah, one of the quarterbacks said that they'd like to have Jason Kelsey, which I'm like, that's fair. Having some extra beef up front. But yeah, sorry about bringing Danny in. Him and I actually talked about it beforehand. I was like, well, if he wants hard questions so bad, and so we were trying to find some very pointed questions to be able to ask you.
I was just a little bit like, dang, like, because it was just you and me last year too. So I was just like, maybe these guys just like don't want to talk to me. Like,
well, no, last year's. I'm trying to remember what last year's reason was. Danny was supposed to be on last year's, and then it was a last minute, hey, I got a dip. And and then Danny gave the whole bit in the Instagram DMs, mainly to embarrass me for the sake of I kind of left him high and dry for the DJ Irons interview. I had the flu, and I had 103-degree fever. And like 20 minutes before the interview, I was like, dog, it's not happening. I'm like, that is all you. And it was one of those interviews that we needed an extrovert in the room, and bless Danny's heart. So yeah, no, that was revenge on me. And then this one in particular, I was like, hey, I want to write an article. Because again, I have my own agendas that I'm trying to push, big media over here trying to, do what we do. And so I was like, all right, this one's going to be a one-on-one. And Danny was like, one-on-one. I was like, yes, one-on-one, Danny. So no, it's not that the guys don't like you. Maybe Tanner doesn't, but he's not here to be able to say anything about that. So, but no, I promise you at Fourth Down Fiasco, you are in fact a friend of the pod and not whatever weird friend of the pod thing that you've been listening to.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's some weird politics stuff. That's the place that I heard it. So I was like, I wonder if they listen to the same podcast. Which
definitely not. No, I avoid political pods like the plague. I get enough of my
news. A few years since I've listened to it.
Yeah.
Like 7 now. But yeah, anyways.
So
I come to Europe.
No, I don't blame you. There's definitely some moments where I'm like, I could move to somewhere in Europe. They all speak English over there. It's fine.
Oh, Germany, man, you don't need to know German at all.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So,
yeah.
Speaking of, just kind of Europe as a whole, expansion teams. We've got the Nordic Storm coming in. I guess a double-sided question for you. Number one, what does it mean for the ELF as a whole to have this expansion team that's going to be really good? And number two, are the expectations a little overblown?
Hot take.
Not trying to trap you into a question, but also trying to trap you into a question. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a team that's not on our schedule, so it's kind of like, I don't know. It's not like I have to walk up there week 5. But the first part of the question, of course, it's great, especially just unlocking those geographical regions, Denmark and Sweden being two of the larger places that send kids to college football, especially. So ton of talent, ton of highly trained, guys with a lot of experience. So it's no doubt, it's, I guess, not surprising that they're going to be uber talented and high expectations. Then you bring in probably the 2 highest profile players in our league to your team. That's going to come with pressure, with expectations, with just people wanting to see them continue at their high level. So good on them, honestly, for making that move, because I've listened to both of them talk about the emphasis on wanting to do something different and wanting to continue to show their class at this level and feel that they can do that in a multitude of locations. So I think it was a good move, and I think that the talent that they've put around them, obviously taken a very good safety from us and Chad, and I'm a big fan of Luke Glenna. Played against him several times. Difficult guy to get the ball passed through the air and on the ground. So lots of respect. Excited. Coach Shoup is a offensive genius. So piggybacking off my beginning statement, I'm glad I get to, watch them for 12 weeks before, we be potentially facing them in a hopeful playoff situation. So excited to see really all the teams at this point. I'm a fan of the ELF as much as I am a player. If we're playing on Sunday, you can find me on my couch on Saturday. I promise you that I will be there watching every game.
Fair enough. I like how you completely sidestepped the trap question. Well done. That was impressive. Media trained, just like you said. But, kind of looking at the Storm as a whole, we lost two teams in the Milano Seamen and the Barcelona Dragons, obviously. But, then replaced them with a, regardless if they end up, being a championship contender or just a playoff team, regardless, a significantly better program as a whole. And so do you think that as the league continues with these expansions that they should target areas where they can ensure that talent's going to be better, or should they look more for high population density areas just to bring in more fans? What is your take on that?
My answer is yes. I think they should do both, obviously. Okay. I think, honestly, there's only about one more place. I'll say two more places, one of them being Italy. I mean, I played in Italy for 3 years. I've played on the Italian national team. I know a lot of those Italian football players. There's good enough talent in Italy to have a competitive ELF football team.
Right.
I think that there were mistakes made in the unveiling of or launching of their franchise in Milan. Certainly just with, the Seamen were so good for so long in the Italian league. They made, I don't call them enemies, but it's like they made rivals. And so, when that team just picks up and goes to the ELF, it's tough to convince guys that have, loathed you for so long and competed against you to, hey, come join us. So,
and Italian pride is a very different kind of pride too. So
oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. You're talking about like you go 5 miles away and you're calling the same food different just because they call it something else.
Yeah.
You got to call it something different. Yeah. So that, as well as obviously population centers, is just you're a marketing guy. More pockets you have, the more money available, more opportunity. I mean, these are franchises, these are businesses. And so they have people investing in them who, maybe not immediately, but want to see return eventually and believe that there's the potential for that. And so I think that the larger market areas certainly facilitate that. But I think that this league, 24 teams was a bit of a stretch. I don't know where else you go. I think the 16 four divisions now, I guess they're calling them divisions, is probably about a nice sweet spot. And whether you shift around some of these teams from here, I will not be here to be a part of that.
You say that, and then we're gonna blink, and you're gonna be, old man Aaron Rodgers hanging out with us 10 years from now, bringing you back on the podcast for like the 12th time.
Certainly not in a jersey, I promise you. If I can remain once I'm out of the playing days, I'm sure it's going to be podcasts like this that I stay involved and I guess less involved. I more want to say informed. Or podcasts like this that I can turn on and hear the news and hear who's doing what. And because, I look forward to that. That'll be fun.
Now, you had said that there were two places you could see expansion. So one was Italy. What was the other one?
London, sorry.
Okay.
London would be.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, seemingly like the blatant opposite. I mean, you look at every single team has a Brit E spot. And a lot of them multiple. So you're just like, wow. It's just like Paris 2 years ago, just like France. Every team had multiple French dudes. And so you're just like, whoa, if they made a team, that would be a pretty good team.
Fair enough.
So, Yeah.
Well, cool. We are coming to the end of the interview here. Luckily, Danny didn't steal my actual last question. So, you answered which NFL player you would plug and play, which was Aaron Donald. But if there was any ELF player, obviously A and E imports in this case do not matter. What player from around the league would you love to just drag and drop onto your team? This is a recruiting moment for you, so choose wisely, because there might be someone.
I mean, they're already signed. There's not much.
But it could be next year,
Yeah, that's right. There's always next year.
when you're deciding to come back, but to repeat, of course,
Right, exactly. No, the goal is the sunset, man.
Fair enough.
I would say. I mean, I'm trying to think of. It has nothing to do with honestly, the team I'm on or the players we have. I'm just thinking who's the most dominant player. And there's two that I'm deciding between. There's the obvious running back who changes the game. And
Fair.
There's an obvious receiver.
Is it? Are they currently on the Vienna Vikings?
No.
Okay.
I've already. That's a funny. In terms of Yannick, are you talking about Yannick?
No, I was talking about Reese Horn, but.
Oh no. I was going. So I kind of stayed away from Americans, honestly, because Americans, that's the largest pool of guys. The guys that really changed the game here in Europe and certainly the ELF are undoubtedly the Europeans and to me, the homegrowns. The best teams in this league are teams with best homegrowns. And so mine would be Kofi.
Okay.
That Harlan Kofi is, to me, him and Louis Geyer are the two guys that can do everything. And that guy is one of the better pass catchers, but also the best blocking receiver in this league. And I challenge Louis every day to be as sticky as that guy in the blocking game. But that would be the guy that his game is it's one of those guys. His game transfers to every team, right? Everybody needs a receiver that catches the ball. Everybody needs this receiver that blocks. And so just a ton of respect. And I think he's at one of those top guys in this continent, I guess.
Cool. Well, I'll just play some calls for you, make sure that the trade happens. It'll hit about mid-season for you, so don't worry.
Gotcha. Yeah. He's one of those few guys that's got that the multi-year stuff that
good for him.
Of them that you're I don't know. I'm how does that work? What do you?
No clue. Couldn't tell you. They don't let us in on that kind of stuff, unfortunately. So.
It's a pretty. I was talking to my dad about that. It's just why do NFL teams publish contracts? It's only a detriment to them, right? When other teams hear you're paying that guy, then shoot, now we got to pay this guy that much. All these receivers seeing Jamar Chase's contract now. It's here we go.
Or the amount of quarterbacks where it's you're a fringe top 10. Why are you getting QB1 money?
Exactly. And it's because if you leave, that team now
not going to be nearly as good.
Exactly. And so that's what's crazy. So.
But any final words for your Stuttgart fans out there? Anybody who's made it to the end of the pod?
Yeah, if you made it this far, appreciate you. That's
I guarantee Alex Malchow has him and Jamal Clay both.
Yeah, and my father for sure. Hey, Dad. No, just excited, man. Hope to see as many people as we can, both wearing black and yellow and purple and orange now at that first game. I think that Frankfurt, just proximity with such a great fan base, has an opportunity to come down and make just a phenomenal atmosphere. So really looking forward to that. And, our Stuttgart faithful, we've got some of the most faithful fans that, they come to practice. They come to, our youth camp that we put on. They're there literally supporting us, coaching kids, that you're just like, man, this is more than a football team for you. This is a family. And that's when it becomes like, everything we do is cool, but I still feel weird when I'm signing my name on people's hats and shirts and stuff. I'm just like, I'm just a guy. I'm just in my bedroom on a computer. Like,
the humble guy gimmick strikes again.
I didn't know this. Yeah. I didn't know I had this persona, because I'm sure there's plenty of guys in my circles that would argue that. There's certainly, I have my quarterback prima donna aspects to me as well. So
ooh, I might have to call some of your roommates in for an emergency pod, talk to them about that. We want the inside scoop on prima donna Hennessey for sure.
Get support. Yeah. That'd be some funny info.
Cool. Reilly, as always, I appreciate you for hanging out. This has been the Fourth Down Fiasco's exclusive interview with Stuttgart Surge quarterback Reilly Hennessey. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
Thanks, guys.